Hi there, it's Emma with another episode of Sax Bites, the 5-minute saxophone lesson podcast. Today we are going to be talking about one of my absolute pet peeves, one thing that gets me really riled up as a teacher because it's so important and it's so overlooked, especially with intermediate and advanced students. You just kind of think you've nailed it as a beginner and then you never think about it again. And that is posture. Okay, so maybe I'm being a little dramatic. There's a little bit of hyperbole there, but posture is definitely something that needs to be in the back of your mind pretty much at all times. I find myself when I'm playing, if something's not working or sounding the way I want it to, quite often it's actually a posture issue. I'm neglecting something in my posture. So I'm going to start by talking about standing posture. And in fact, pretty much this whole episode is going to be on standing posture because there's something that I see so many students do, even really quite advanced students do it, and it drives me absolutely crazy. So have you ever been watching someone play and you've been looking at them and you're like, why have they got one foot on a tippy toe? And you'll see students and they've got one foot flat and the other foot is on a tippy toe and they're resting their saxophone on that raised leg. The tippy-toed foot is leading to a really pointy knee and they're resting their saxophone on that, and it just makes no sense to me for a couple of reasons. Let me explain why. I'll try and tone down the dramatics. So everyone can understand that our posture should be both comfortable and optimal for our playing. We should make sure that our diaphragm can do its job, can get plenty of air in, and then we can get plenty of air out. So when I see students that are standing and they actually have one foot raised on that tippy toe, they're not doing either of those things. They're not comfortable because they're actually not that balanced, which is kind of an important part for comfort and facilitating better breath support. And they're not getting that breath support because quite often that raised leg means that they're on a bit of an angle. Their whole body is tilted to one side because one foot is higher than the other. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oop, that's me, or that's one of my students, I've got two solutions. One's very quick and easy. One is a little bit more complex. So you'll have to see which one it is that will actually work for you. The first solution is to just lift your neck strap higher. You would be surprised how many students and how many players don't actually realize that the neck strap should be in a higher position when they're standing as opposed to when they're sitting. And if they're doing the little raised foot position, then they're not actually supporting the saxophone high enough and they're trying to use their leg to bring the saxophone higher instead of using their neck strap. Or maybe they're using a neck strap that's too long, very common in young students, and they actually just need to be given a shorter neck strap. If that doesn't solve the problem, you might need to spend a little more time with the second solution. And that is you need to build strength and control into your right hand. So if you're finding that you just need to use that leg there to create stability and for the saxophone to feel stable and in control in your hands when you're standing, you actually are relying on the wrong part of your body. You want your right hand to make sure that your saxophone is in front of you or maybe slightly to the side if you're a little bit taller or that just suits your physicality. But your right hand, and particularly your right thumb, is what's anchoring it in place. And this is actually a reason why I actually take my thumb rest off my alto in particular, also my tenor, sometimes my soprano and barry. But on my alto and tenor particularly, I take that thumb rest off so that my thumb is able to sit a little bit higher up on the saxophone. And in doing so, it creates a lot more control and stability in where that hand is holding the instrument in place. Young students, you may not want to take the thumb rest off. That might be a little bit weird for a younger player, but it's the same sort of process of getting comfortable with what your right hand has to do and can provide that stability. If your standing posture is optimal, if you've got control and comfort with feet flat on the floor, your head is up, you are just going to play better. There's nothing else to it. And we want those feet flat on the floor. You want to be balanced, straight upright, not leaning to one side. So if you felt a little bit attacked by this episode and you're sitting there thinking, yep, I've got to get my feet in order, try out those 2 tips. Hopefully it's just a case of getting that neck strap in the right position. If you need to do a little work to feel more comfortable, well, hey, go out there, have a great practice session, and until next time, this has been Sax Bites.